A special theory of relativity says that moving clocks run slower. This is called time dilation. If two observers are moving relative to each other in inertial frames of reference, then each will call the other's clock slower. But how can both clocks be slower than each other? Consider two inertial frames S and S prime. S prime is moving relative to S. Therefore, S will say that the clock of S prime is slower. But according to S prime, it is S which is moving. Therefore, S prime will say that the clock of S is slower. I am going to explain how both are correct. Consider this scenario. There are two inertial frames S and S prime. S prime is moving relative to S with velocity v to the right. A and B are two of the clocks in frame S. Clock A is at the origin and clock B is at some distance L to the right of clock A. S prime has a clock A prime at its origin. When the origins of the two frames coincide, then each frame sets its clock readings to 0. After that, S prime moves to a distance L relative to S. Consider these two events, event 1 and event 2. Event 1 is when the origins of the two frames coincide. Event 2 is when S prime has moved a distance L relative to S. We analyze these two events from the perspective of frame S. Delta t is the time interval between the two events by the clocks of frame S, and delta t prime is the time interval between the two events by the clocks of frame S prime. But all the clocks are being read by frame S. Frame S is reading its own clocks and it is also reading the clocks of frame S prime. At event 1, S has set its clock readings to 0. Therefore, TA is 0 and TB is 0. Frame S prime has also set its clock readings to 0. Clock A prime is just next to S. Therefore, S can clearly see the reading in A prime. So, S will also see that TA prime is 0. Between event 1 and event 2, the distance travelled in frame S is L. S prime is moving with speed v. Therefore, delta t is distance divided by speed, which equals L divided by v. We find delta t prime using time dilation formula. Delta t prime equals delta t into square root of 1 minus v square by c square, that is L divided by v into square root of 1 minus v square by c square. Now we find the readings of the clocks at event 2. At event 1, clock B reading was 0. Between the two events, clock B reading advanced by delta t, which equals L divided by v. Therefore, at event 2, clock B reading is 0 plus delta t, that is 0 plus L divided by v or L divided by v. We know that clock A prime is a clock in S prime. S will argue that clock A prime reading at event 1 was 0. Between the two events, clock A prime reading advanced by delta t prime. Therefore, at event 2, clock A prime reading is 0 plus delta t prime, that is L divided by v into square root of 1 minus v square by c square. As we can see, the reading of clock A prime is less than the reading of clock B. Frame S will say that the reading of clock S prime is smaller because S prime clocks are ticking slower than its own clocks. Next, we analyze the two events from the perspective of frame S prime. This time also, delta t is the time interval between the two events by the clocks of frame S, and delta t prime is the time interval between the two events by the clocks of frame S prime. but this time we are assuming that frame S prime is reading all the clocks. As seen from frame S prime, frame S is moving to the left. With that, all the clocks of frame S, such as clocks A and B, are moving to the left. The distance between the two events is not L. Rather, according to length contraction formula, the distance is L into square root of 1 minus V square by C square. Delta T prime is distance divided by speed, that is L divided by V into square root of 1 minus V square by C square. Using time dilation formula, we calculate delta T equals delta T prime into square root of 1 minus V square by C square, that is L divided by V into square root of 1 minus V square by C square. As you can notice, the expression for delta T in this slide is different from the expression for delta T in the previous slide. This is because in the previous slide, we assumed that frame S was reading all the clocks. In the current slide, we are assuming that frame S prime is reading all the clocks. So in the previous slide, delta T means the time interval between the two events by the clocks of frame S when frame S is itself reading the clocks. This time, delta T is the time interval between the two events by the clocks of frame S when frame S prime is reading those clocks. As we can see, delta T is less than delta T prime because according to frame S prime, the clocks of frame S are ticking slower than its own clocks. At event 1, S prime has set its clock readings to 0. Therefore, TA prime is 0. Frame S has also set its clock readings to 0 at event 1. Clock A is just next to S prime. Therefore, S prime will see that TA is 0. But what about reading in clock B? Remember that event 1, clock B is not next to S prime. It is at some distance. So S prime does not see the current reading of clock B. That is why I have used question mark for the reading in clock B at event 1. Let us find the readings of the clocks at event 2. At event 2, frame S prime is just next to clock B. Therefore, it can see what is the reading in clock B. We saw earlier that the reading in clock B at event 2 is L divided by V. Therefore, S prime is also seeing that the reading in clock B is L divided by V. Now we find the reading of clock A prime at event 2. At event 1, A prime reading is 0. Between event 1 and event 2, the time elapsed by clock A prime is delta T prime, which equals L divided by V into square root of 1 minus V square by C square. Therefore, at event 2, clock A prime reading is 0 plus delta T prime, that is L divided by V into square root of 1 minus V square by C square. As we can see, S prime also sees that the reading of clock B, which is a clock in S, is greater than the reading of clock A prime, which is a clock in S prime. Still, S prime will say that the clocks of S are ticking slower than its own clocks. I am going to explain why. As you remember, I had put a question mark for the reading of clock B at event 1 from the perspective of frame S prime. Now we will derive the expression in place of that question mark. That is, we will find what is the clock B's reading at event 1 as seen by frame S prime. Here TB1 is the reading of clock B at event 1 according to frame S prime. TB2 is the reading of clock B at event 2 according to frame S prime, and delta T is the time taken in frame S clocks as read by frame S prime. Therefore, TB1 plus delta T equals TB2, or TB1 equals TB2 minus delta T. We will put the expressions for TB2 and delta T, and after simplification we find TB1 equals LV divided by C square. That is, the reading in clock B as read by frame S prime is LV by C square at event 1. Let us compare the perspectives of the two frames. At event 2, both frames agree on the readings of clocks B and A prime. These two clocks are next to each other at event 2. Both will say that the reading of clock A prime is smaller than the reading of clock B, but the frames will interpret this differently. S will say to S prime, your clock is showing a smaller reading than my clock because your clock is ticking slower than my clock. And S prime will say to S, actually your clock is ticking slower than my clock. Your clock is showing higher reading because already a higher value was set in your clock. At event 1, my clock's reading was set to 0, but your clock's B reading was set to LV divided by C square. This means that at event 1, S has synchronized its clocks A and B. S has set reading 0 to all its clocks, including clocks A and B. Synchronization of two clocks means that we set the same reading in both the clocks. At event 1, both A and B are set to 0 according to frame S, but they are not synchronized according to frame S prime. Instead, at event 1, clock A's reading is set to 0, but clock B's reading is set to LV divided by C square according to frame S prime. We can derive the expression LV divided by C square using Lorentz transformation too. So this is the Lorentz transformation we use here. T is the reading of a clock of frame S. T prime is the reading of a clock in frame S prime. T is the reading of a clock in frame S. T prime is the reading of a clock in frame S prime. Both clocks are at position X prime. At event 1, S prime has set its clock readings to 0. Therefore, we set T prime is equal to 0. We want to find the value of clock B's reading at event 1. That is, we want to find T. X prime is the location of clock B according to S prime. We know that X prime equals L into square root of 1 minus V square by C square. X prime equals L into square root of 1 minus V square by C square. Using algebra, we find that T equals LV divided by C square. See the derivation. A question can be asked. When clocks A and B are synchronized in frame S, then why are they not synchronized in frame S prime? At event 1, S sets clock B's reading to 0. But why will S prime say that clock B's reading is not 0? To understand this, let us see how we synchronize clocks. One way of synchronizing clocks A and B in frame S is to put a source of signal exactly midway between clocks A and B. In frame S, The clocks A and B and the source of the signal are at rest. At the same time, one signal goes to clock A to the left, another signal goes to clock B to the right. When a signal reaches A, then A's reading is set to 0. When a signal reaches B, then B's reading is set to 0. Now both clocks are synchronized according to frame S. Both are set to 0 at the same time. But what will S prime see? In frame S prime, the clocks A and B and the source of the signal are moving towards left. Look at the signal which is going to clock A. According to frame S prime, the signal is moving to the left and clock A is also moving to the left. Thus clock A is trying to move away from the signal and the signal is chasing it. Next, look at the signal to clock B. The signal is moving to the right and the clock B is moving to the left. Thus the clock A is approaching the signal. Therefore the signal to clock B will reach earlier. This means reading in clock B is set to 0 earlier than the reading in clock A. When reading in clock A is set to 0, by that time reading of clock B becomes more than 0. So clock B will be ahead of clock A. In other words, clock A and B are not synchronized according to frame S prime. We know that the situation is symmetrical. If S prime is moving relative to S, then S is moving relative to S prime. We have seen that both frames agree that the clock in S has higher reading than a clock in S prime. Still, each frame calls the other's clock as slower. By symmetry, it should be true the other way also. That is, both frames agree that a clock in S prime has higher reading than a clock in S, and still each frame calls the other's clock is slower. And yes, it indeed happens that way. As seen from frame S prime, it is frame S which is moving to the left. At event 1, clocks A and A prime are next to each other. After some time, clock A of frame S moves to the left and meets some other clock of frame S prime. Let us call that clock as B prime. This time, both frames will agree that reading of clock B prime is greater than the reading of clock A, and still each frame will call the other's clock as slower. To conclude, if two clocks separated by distance L are synchronized in one inertial frame, then they are not synchronized in another inertial frame. Rather, the difference in the readings of the two clocks will be L into V divided by C square, where V is the relative speed between the two frames. The rear clock has higher reading. Here the word rear means rear relative to the direction of motion. For example, if both clocks are moving to the left, then the clock on the right is the rear clock.